Liberate IT is an Oracle NetSuite solution provider that has been servicing Australian and New Zealand companies since 2011.
Good morning, everyone. It's great that you have joined us for 2023. This is the first of our Liberate IT webinars for the year. As we do every year, every month, we'll be sharing something from a Suite app provider, and one of our team will also be sharing some information around NetSuite. We'll be doing that throughout the year, finishing up in November, but looking forward to big things this year. Obviously, there's a lot of uncertainty around the future and what's happening in the economy, but I'm positive that we'll get through it relatively unscathed. As always, I am Andrew Liniger, your relationship manager here at Liberate IT. Do reach out to me if you have any questions or want to know some more information about what we're going to go through today. So what we are going to go through today is a few updates from what's happening here at the team at Liberate, some NetSuite. I'll then get Naomi in from Pepperi to demonstrate some information about some of the latest changes that Pepperi have put in place, and then back to me to wrap up. As always, we'll be recording today's session. It will be posted on our YouTube channel and on our website. So if you are missing something or you want to play something back, give us about a week to get that up online, and we will make that available to you. Also, you'll see that there's a chat function and a Q&A function. We'd ask you today to use the Q&A if you've got any questions during that time. I will moderate the Q&A, and that helps me just make sure that I capture all the questions. If you use chat, I may miss it. So please do use that. Okay, so updates from us. We are having our first user event in person in Auckland on the 14th of March. Same venue as last year down in the CBD. Hopefully things are all dried out by then. That'll be in the afternoon. There was some information about registering for that in our info hub yesterday. So if you missed that, reach out to me. I can make sure that I forward you a copy of that. As I mentioned, our team internally do webinars also on NetSuite functionality. I've got Simon coming in. He's going to take us through the advanced bill of materials functionality later this month on the 23rd of Feb. So keep an eye out for the registration form for that. It will be a good one, I promise you. NetSuite updates, I guess it's dominated primarily by, here we go again, the next NetSuite release, 2023.1. It's on its way. If you don't already have the new release portlet on your dashboard, I'd suggest you grab that, put that in. If you're not sure how to do that, reach out to our support team. On there, you'll see some information about the new release. As always, release preview can be accessed through the little white box in the top right there. You have to opt in for that. We would really encourage everyone to use that release preview, test that everything, especially any customized scripts or workflows, or still work in the new release well ahead of the time before you actually get the release. All the dates that they relate to you will be in that little box as well. So check that out. Make sure that you allow for those the time for that updates. As always, NetSuite give you some information about the new release. You'll see over in the bottom left here, continuous employee engagement. They're talking about Suite People. Suite People has been available in the US for a number of years. The information that NetSuite tell us is that it's not coming to our region. So apologies, this is a standard one for everyone in the world. So please ignore anything relating to Suite People. If you've got any questions around payroll or HR, reach out to me. I've got some great solution providers there that can help you out. In the center column, you'll see NetSuite are talking about Anaytics Warehouse and that it's now available in the UK and Australia. That was released right at the end of last year. I've got some information on that. I'll be going through that in just a second as well. So really cool feature there. You'll also see some information about NetSuite AP automation. We're really looking forward to that coming into our region, but right now it's US only. So please ignore that for the moment. We are being advised that that will come to our region. We just don't know when. Some new functionality is NetSuite Ship Central. As you'll see over to the right, that helps out with consolidating orders that go to the same customer if they've made multiple orders with you over different days and you're shipping that out. Cool functionality. We'll be going through that in our user event in March. So I'm really looking forward to going through that with everyone. There's release notes there. If release notes, I think they're about 100 pages again this year. If they're not your thing, go and have a look at the sneak peek blogs. It's a nice overview of the new functionality in there. Any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me and I'll take you through that. Okay, some other NetSuite updates. If you are going through an audit and your auditors are asking for some compliance certification from NetSuite, that's all available via self-service now. Previously, you'd have to come to me to ask NetSuite for that information. Now that's all self-serve. So that's all accessed via the NetSuite Account Center. If you haven't got the account center set up or it's not associated to your role, do reach out to our support desk. They'll be able to talk you through how to access that, which is great. Okay, some new modules available for purchase. SUITECOMMERCE My Account. I did a webinar end of last year on that, so do check that out. If you just want a self-serve portal within the NetSuite framework. Also SUITECOMMERCE, that's also available in our region. And SMARTCOUNT is a handheld phone or Android or Apple device that allows you to do stock takes on the move. The only proviso with that is you need advanced inventory, which is obvious to track your inventory, but you also need to be either on a Suite Success version of NetSuite or have OneWorld enabled on your account. So do bear that in mind. That's not obvious as you explore that. Any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Anaytics Warehouse is brand new, as I mentioned. There are some webinars and some videos that NetSuite have released on that. One thing that really struck me on that is it's not just about NetSuite data, it's about more data in your business and joining that up to have a sensible understanding of what's going on in the business. So in the webinar that I saw, they looked at ad spend through AdWords and the relationship to online revenue that came through. So you can gauge the success or otherwise of the ad spend. So that's some real insights that you don't just get out of siloed data. It's a way to bring all that data together. So excited that this is coming to market. It leverages Oracle's infrastructure and should be pretty cool to check out. Can't wait to demonstrate that to our customers. For those of you with a company-wide Learning Cloud Support Pass, there are webinars that NetSuite produce very regularly. Here are the ones that are coming up in the next month or so. If you subscribe me to that, don't miss out on that. There is a lot of information here. We like to think that we supplement those, but do check those out. I think they'll be very valuable to make sure you get the most out of that investment. Okay. So here we are. We are going to be talking about all things Pepperi today. I have Naomi Farberman joining me from Pepperi. She's a regional sales manager from Pepperi, obviously. Naomi, hello. Good to see you.
Hello, everybody. It's good to be here. Thank you for inviting me today.
No problem. Naomi, quick question. How long have you been with the Pepperi team now?
Almost 10 years.
Wow.
So been doing it for a really long time.
You know it inside out.
Yes, and all the history in the background.
Fantastic. I think I've known you for about half that time.
I think so, yes.
Yeah. Great. Well, it's great to have you here today. I'll hand over to you.
Fantastic. Thank you. So I will share my screen and make sure I share the correct one. So today, I guess what I'm going to be going through is I'll do a few PowerPoint slides that will, I guess, give you an overview of the Pepperi platform. For those of you who have seen Pepperi before, some of it will be familiar. Some of the things I'll be showing you are some of the new features that we've brought out in the last 6 months, year, because we're constantly doing development implementations. As Andrew just spoke about with NetSuite, Pepperi being a cloud-based platform, cloud from the ground up, just like NetSuite. We're constantly adding new features and functionality. Some are included in our licensing, some are additional modules that you can purchase. So I'll go through sort of how it all fits together for those of you who haven't seen it before. And then I will jump into a quick demo, not a full demo of the platform, but just giving you a flavor of how the whole platform fits together and what it looks like. And I think the really most important thing to understand with Pepperi, you can see on my screen here, is that it's a unified commerce platform. We specialize in B2B, and it's one unified platform, both for your people in the field, whether they be sales reps, merchandisers, people that need to collect data, and also your customers to see the information they need to see, be able to place orders, but also be able to interact with you. So that's why it's a platform, not just an e-commerce product or sales rep tool. It's sort of much more than that, because with one integration to NetSuite, you can have this front-facing system that is used for purpose. For the people that need to see it will see what they need to see. It's fit for purpose for them. And the other thing that's really important about Pepperi, which again is very similar to NetSuite, so you'll be familiar with it from your journey with NetSuite, is it's a configurable system. There's a lot you can do with NetSuite, as in Pepperi, that you can configure rather than code and develop. So if you want to change a field on one of your screens in NetSuite, you can add a custom field, make it visible on the screen, use that in a saved search to do reporting. Pepperi works the same way. You can create custom fields, and then we can integrate that from whatever you've set up in your NetSuite, make that available in Pepperi, or create custom fields just in Pepperi that then the users can use. Wish lists, pantry lists, things like that can be created and used in Pepperi as required by the administrator or by our consultants, as you do with Liberate and with NetSuite. So that unified platform, that configurability are the two really big things, and the synergy with NetSuite is very close in that way. So I think you'll all understand it, and it'll enable you to enhance your investment in NetSuite, but add value to that customer-facing or rep-facing side of your business that works online or offline. So it adds additional value. So to jump into Pepperi, as I mentioned, unified commerce. So we have our Pepperi platform that's in the cloud, as with NetSuite. So you're all familiar with that concept. And then you've got obviously your NetSuite environment, and then we have our own integration platform. I know that there are separate integration products that work with NetSuite that are very powerful. What we find is that by having our own, we can, we already have the bits we need to connect to Pepperi on one side, and we also know how to connect to NetSuite on the other side. So there's a lot less rework. Then all we're doing is mapping to your data and bringing in your data into the Pepperi platform that we need. So it makes it a lot easier to set up and configure that integration. And we do it ourselves, so there's not a third party involved. Then on top of that sits the Pepperi back office. The Pepperi back office is the engine room where you configure everything. It's drag and drop, it's a web interface. So you manage everything there. And as you make changes, those changes are made available to the users. Attached to that is our mobile field sales module. The mobile field sales module loosely breaks up into 3 areas, but really all of this is available within the platform, depending on your licensing. First, obviously, the mobile order taking. You can see all your customers, you can see them on a map, you can visit those customers and take orders. Then you go up to the next level. On top of that, you can add in custom forms, visit reports, notes, take photos, contact us forms, etc., that can help you to manage the relationship with your field salesperson and your customer. And then the final one, van sales, multiple warehouses, inventory in the van, selling from the van, stock taking, those sort of things can all be done with that field sales platform, all based on configuring that environment. But also, you've got your inside salespeople. They can also access the same platform via a browser, via a device, and then they can see what the field salespeople have been doing. They can be communicating with the field salespeople through Pepperi to do whatever they need to do in conjunction with how they're working with NetSuite. So that can be very powerful as well. And then on top of that, the module that we've invested a lot in the last few years, and obviously during COVID became a very big priority for a lot of companies, was our B2B e-commerce module. And our B2B e-commerce module, again, works on an app or on the web, but what it does is it allows your customers to interact with you, place orders, see inventory, pay their statements, etc. And where this adds value on top of other systems that you may have is, number one, it's a unified platform with your field sales. Number two, it's specifically designed for business to business. And because it's designed for business to business, it has those things that your typical business to consumer websites don't have. Multiple price lists, the ability to very quickly place orders for multiple items at the same time, seeing your history, doing replenishment. So if you have a baseline of a season of clothing that you're selling in, or product or consignment stock, or a display unit that you've got in the store, and you want the customer just to count what they need to reorder, they can do that within this environment. They can see their invoices, they can pay their bills, they can submit a case, that can become a case on NetSuite. All of that can be done on this business-to-business environment. Even units of measure, cases versus units, in the food industry, food service versus individual stores, distributors versus retailers. You can have different profiles that specifically work with different rules and workflows for those different types of customer types. And that's where the specialty comes in on that B2B e-commerce platform. Then on top of that, we also have additional modules. A lot of these are the newer modules that we've introduced in the last couple of years. One is our Insights module, and I'll show that in the demo. And the Insights is really a product within Pepperi, as different to a business intelligence environment, which looks at that Pepperi data and either provides your reps or your customers with, for example, targets or goals that they need to reach and how they're performing versus those. Or it could show the rep how many calls they've made, or it could show the sales information that the customer's selling. So it's a graphical tool that you or in conjunction with us can build reports that are available within the Pepperi tool. We can also take in data from other sources to combine to provide reporting for those people in the field or for your B2B customers to know how they're tracking with you. E-payments, we connect into payment gateways, or we can connect into whatever payment gateway you've got connected to your NetSuite. So if your customers already have saved credit card information within your NetSuite environment, we can use those tokens so that they can just easily click use my saved credit card to pay. The iPass I mentioned already, our integration platform, we have within that integration platform a specific NetSuite integration module that is two-way and sends data backwards and forwards to and from NetSuite. Wherever NetSuite allows us to send data in, whether that's to build an assembly item, whether that's to send in a sales order, whether that's to send in CRM information, we can do that with our iPass. And the trade promotions module. That module allows us to configure promotions within Pepperi, buy one, get one free, buy X, get X% off, choose a selection from this group of items. Here is a pre-pack that you can buy, volume discounts, etc. So again, this module allows you to add even further value to your Pepperi environment, but can send that information into NetSuite as lines. So you don't need to have the promotions necessarily set up on Pepperi, on NetSuite, if you don't need to. You can have them set up on the Pepperi environment. All of this works on Apple, Android, and on the web app. So the web app works obviously online, but on our native apps, it all works offline as well. So everything syncs down to the local device. What that means, even if you've got good internet connection, it means that all the data is stored locally. So it's fast. It's very fast. It works at trade shows. It works out on the road. It works in the country. It works in the basement of a shopping center where there's lots of concrete. So it doesn't matter because you've got the latest data based on the last sync that you did. So in conclusion on this slide, Pepperi is that single platform with that single integration to NetSuite to provide you that unified commerce functionality that enhances your investment in your NetSuite environment. So it's very powerful in that way. At a glance, really quickly about us as a company. We're a global company. We operate in more than 70 countries. Pepperi works in 16 languages out of the box, but we also can translate to other languages. So if you are a global distributor, for example, you can have different profiles in different currencies and different languages for your different customers. We have over 1,000 customers around the world. Over 100 employees in 3 main offices. For our APAC region, our office is based in Melbourne. So we have time zone support, we have time zone project management, so that you can have someone in our time zone to support what you need. And our system is enterprise grade. We have customers from large enterprise customers down to the small and medium size. So they all get the benefit of that enterprise grade platform. And we did get a gold medal last year from Software Reviews as an industry leader in B2B e-commerce, specifically because we focus on that B2B side of e-commerce, which is rapidly growing in the market. People, especially after COVID, and because they're so used to buying as a consumer, are now asking for that business-to-business e-commerce option, which now businesses are really starting to invest in. So in summary, Pepperi is a dynamic and configurable platform, as I mentioned a few times. We have the seamless two-way integration with NetSuite. We have global customers, most likely in your industry, because we work across a lot of industries, and we're constantly developing our product. The other nice thing, which is again very similar to NetSuite, is we can grow at your own pace. It's very straightforward to start with Pepperi very simply. And then as you want to add features and functionality, it's all done with configuration, not coding. So we can add and enhance your investment as you go. And lastly, as I mentioned, that local support, but also we do follow the sun support. So because we have a global team, we are able to hand over support to other regions so they can keep working on issues, so the issues get worked on all the time. So our platform, browser-based. So you, as with NetSuite, you access it all via a browser as an administrator or a user, but also we have that online, offline app. And that app can be also private labeled. So you can have your own app on the App Store that your customers can download, so they know that you're the destination that they're buying from. Or when they're talking in their store, talking to their customer, they can, I'll check the supplier's app, see what's in stock, place an order for you, place a consignment order, drop ship order, etc. So that can all be done with that private label app. And lastly, we're hosted on Amazon, so we're supported by very secure global platforms so that we can scale as we need, no additional overheads and very fast response times, so that as we expand globally and get more customers globally, Amazon platform expands with us. So very, very powerful as well. So I'll jump into the demo. I think Andrew's monitoring for questions, so I'll pause for a moment and see if there's any questions that have been submitted yet.
Yeah, no questions at this stage, Naomi.
Okay, fantastic. So what I'll do is I will show both the Pepperi on an iPad, and I'll show it also on the web. So you'll see both, the way both works. First, what I'm sharing here on this screen, and hopefully I'm still sharing the screen. Andrew, can you just confirm that you can see my iPad?
Sure can.
Great, thank you. Here I'm logged into one of our demos for the iPad. It is the one we've designed for the food industry. We have other ones for other industries, but because, as I mentioned before, Pepperi is configurable for any environment, we can control the look and feel based on the user requirements, in this case, for a food industry sales rep. Down the bottom here, you see a lot of buttons. Again, there are a lot of buttons here because this is a demo. In your environment, you may only need 2 or 3 buttons, but here we show a lot of examples of the things that we can configure Pepperi to do. So obviously, order taking in this demo for a food sales rep is very important. So we've got the ability to quickly tap on quick order, find a customer and place an order. But the more I guess important thing is to be able to see your account information. This is all data from NetSuite. Our integration brings in any of the information that you need. Again, you choose what you want to see here in terms of the accounts. One of the new things that we've released this year is the ability to tap on invoices and be able to open up invoices from NetSuite for that customer, in this case for the sales rep, but the B2B customer can also see these sort of things. If they've got multiple locations, if they've got any sort of group discount, who the contact people are in the account. So we can keep that up to date. So we've always got a record of that. But then also this account, which can be filtered so the rep only sees their own, can also be seen on a map. So here it's showing them in the customers in Europe, but we can also put in different size pins, and we can also filter. And all of this filtering information is also based on your data from NetSuite. So whether it's a run that you're doing on a particular day of the week, or whether it's a size of the customer, or whether it's the channel they're in, or where they're located, it's up to you in terms of the data you provide from NetSuite to enable the rep to filter down the accounts and see the accounts they need to see that might potentially be near them. And you can see here I'm in Melbourne, that's where I'm located. So you can show me what stores are close to me, or at a trade show, what stores are close to the customer that you're talking to on your stand. You can also create new accounts, which can then be sent to NetSuite, or just be created as leads for your sales reps to prospect. Then when you go into the actual account, we get access to our account dashboard. Again, a configurable dashboard where you can see there's a lot of buttons here in this example, but you really can choose which buttons you want to have visible. And also very important in the dashboard reporting. So in this case, we've got a number of tabs that we're showing, which show the order history for this particular customer. But as I mentioned before, Insights is one of our newer modules, and we can also incorporate that into the account dashboard. And this is something we didn't have in the past. We only had very simple reporting in the past, where you can actually create the reports that you want your sales rep to see. Now, these reports are also available for your B2B e-commerce customer. So here, the rep seeing the top selling items for this customer, how they're going versus target. But really, you can design this in our Insights module as you want to, but it's available and it's customer specific, or you can have a rep dashboard, which is rep specific, to see that information. You can also see the open tasks. They can see the invoices, sales, etc. Or if the customer's ordering on B2B specifically, they can see that information as well. Again, very dynamic, configurable with dragging and dropping for you. Also other information that you want them to see that's important for interacting with that customer. When you go into a sales order, you can pop up information that's important for them. And then when you get into the actual ordering environment, we can choose to put things up here, how they're going versus target. Sometimes we've also put in things like if they've got core or important items that they need to range with the customer, we can put stats about that. And as they add items to the order, they can see how those stats change. So dynamically incentivizing a sales rep to be able to order more or see what they need to order to achieve their targets as they're taking the order. Here, lots of filtering, again, based on your NetSuite data. So as many fields as you have to provide attributes for your data, we can then use that information here to create filters for your brands, but then also to create hierarchies. So in this case, we've got the brands, but then we can drill down to categories, etc. It's really up to you what you want to use to filter your data. And that's very, very powerful because we can really take any field in NetSuite and use it for filtering, while a lot of systems that you see have very fixed filtering options. And then across the top, we have our dynamic filters. So those dynamic filters, again, can look at other data and say, what are the best sellers? Best sellers for the customer, or best sellers for the region, or best sellers for the market. Or favorites also can be called a pantry list. Or my history, what the customers bought in the last 3 months. And really you can again dynamically build these as you need to be able to give your sales reps or your B2B customers, and it can be a different set for the reps or for the customers, the filtering they need to really quickly and easily find the products that they want to order. We've had scenarios where customers who've got thousands and thousands of SKUs have launched the B2B e-commerce for their customers, and because it has been so easy to find products, they've had an uptake of 45% or more of items ordered that these particular customers had never ordered before. And this is because their filtering that they built into their Pepperi environment made it much easier for them to find items. Other thing you'll see here is the unit in the box, so that unit of measure. We've got the ability to build in unit of measure for the SKUs that need it. So if you've got unit of measure in Pepperi, this is another, in NetSuite, we can bring that in. So some items can be without the unit of measure if you're only buying it in one, or we can lock it down so that distributors can only buy by boxes, while sales reps can order by units and boxes, for example. This is what we call our medium view. We also have other views to make it even faster to place orders. So our grid line view here, I can also go horizontal if I want to, and then I can quickly add more items to the order, but I can also see more information in a grid line view on a device. And as I mentioned before, this works online or offline, so it works very fast. So here we've got some calculated fields. We've also got the ability to sort by any fields that we want to add in. We can also barcode scan. So your B2B customers can also barcode scan to reorder. And then when they barcode scan, or you're barcode scanning at a trade show, it will automatically add the items to the order for you. So really flexible in many different areas. So you can, depending on your particular user environment and use case, Pepperi can be configured to meet those requirements. Another one, which is that newer module, is the promotions module. In this case, buy 10 more to get 6% off. So if I add more items, you can see the number goes down. And then as I keep adding more, now buy 2, buy 1 more, and then buy 10 more now to get 10% off. So it can add for those volume buys as you're selling through as well. And then once you go to the cart, in the cart, it will show you the prices. It'll show you the percentage discount. If you want to put in weights, measures, etc., you can. And then you can also get a customer signature. It can generate a PDF of the order that can get sent to the customer. Then if you want to do other options, we can also build in other options. Again, we choose these: pay online, save as draft, send for approval, and then can submit the order. So if you try and submit the order, then it can also, if a customer has a minimum order value, etc., it can stop them from placing an order or notify them, etc. So lots of different features and functionality within the ordering environment. I want to now jump into the equivalent on the B2B e-commerce and show you how we add value to this environment within the B2B. Are there any questions on the sort of sales rep side up to now?
No, Naomi,
okay.
We're all clear for questions.
Okay, fantastic. So now what I'm sharing is what we call our open catalog. This is another new feature that we've made available, where you actually can build a WordPress site that has a link to the Pepperi backend, so can use your NetSuite then to Pepperi data to make it available on the public internet, so that your people on your web page can find your product catalog. So it's an easy way to make your product catalog available, but have all your data in NetSuite. Also, custom forms, so people can request to become a customer, can use forms that are actually out of Pepperi, so they automatically get created in the Pepperi environment. And then finally, when you log in, now this login can be on your website or on our open catalog, you go to the login page, your own custom domain, and your own custom login with your own branding. Then when you log into the environment, only your customers can log into your environment. You can have any other links, etc. And then you get into the web version of the environment. So here in the web version, you see very similar things to what we saw in on the iPad, but this works online and is a lot more graphical. So we have the option to do a lot more branding, a lot more marketing. Our homepage, our links up the top. Here we've got some other new features that we've added, our document library, where you can link to a secure document library. It could be images your customer wants to download for their own website, or it could be marketing information, or it could be material safety data sheets, or if it's for a sales rep, it could be their sales sheets. So that's a new feature we've just released. Also, the ability to have multiple customers visible under one account. So you can have a head office ordering for multiple customers and see reporting from multiple stores. Was also very powerful. Also, another feature we've got in here, which again can be done for the sales reps, can be done for the buyer, pre-prepared shopping lists, where your customer can actually create the shopping list, click on plus, and it automatically adds the items to their cart. So they can have a standing order that they create themselves, and they can quickly reorder it. Also, seeing their invoices, if they want to pay their invoices, their credits, etc., they can go into the Pepperi environment. So it really becomes that portal, that one-stop shop. They can pick the orders or invoices they want to pay. They can choose pay online, and it takes them to that payment gateway. So that I mentioned in that first slide, where they can pay. So again, another new feature, another enhancement since probably I've last demonstrated Pepperi. Then also you can see here other options of things customers can do. They can request a quote, request the items they want to quote on. They could request a drop ship. They could upload from their own systems, their own order, or replenishment is an example of where we had that baseline where they can just count the stock and it will tell them. Now, all this we're seeing on a website, but is also available on your customer's phone. So you can have a button for their replenishment orders, and they can just go to the shelf, barcode scan if they want to, and then type in how many are on the shelf, and then it'll tell them how much to reorder. Similar to what they do in the supermarkets here today. But you can give that functionality for your product range to your B2B customers. Works really well when you've got a lot of SKUs, and it makes it a lot easier for your customers to reorder effectively. And it means they'll reorder more often because it's easier for them to reorder more often. As soon as they need to, they'll go and do it because it's an easy thing to do. Within here, when you log in or click into the category, you see those same main categories and subcategories that we saw on the iPad, but in a more B2C type format. You see these types of promotions that we saw also on the iPad, where it's down counting and giving you the percentage discounts. Also, we can see here, we've got a link to promotions. This is another type of promotion within our promotion module for pre-packs and bundles. Buy 50 cans, get 5 for free. Buy 4 beers for $20 are a couple of examples of those promotions. Also, we can go into dairy, and in here we can also go into the item information, see lots of different information, have it formatted and branded as you need to, but also all of this other information can come from NetSuite. In this case, we'll put it in item information. We can choose to put it on the main screen, but also related items. So if you bought this, you might want to buy this. This is another new feature we've added in the last year. So we're really creating that B2C experience for B2B, but with specific product ranges for the customers, with specific customer pricing, with the ability to order very quickly and the way they need to order. So it makes it easier for them. Because one of the things that makes B2B different from B2C, B2C people are buying because they want to buy. B2B, they're ordering because they have to for their job. So you want to make it as easy as possible for them to reorder when they need to. Then when we order a few items, again, we go to the cart, lots of different incentives and things to remind them to order, and then they can submit the order, or they could go and check inventory if you want it to be a real-time inventory check. We could also incorporate chat, things like that. So a lot of information available for those B2B customers to be able to easily order from you, or for your sales reps to place orders, or capture information. For example, contact us. They can fill in the form. And when they fill in the form, we can then see here on the service requests report whether it's been answered or not. Customer service can answer it, and they can see the status updates, etc. So it's that interactive experience with your customers. And depending on your industry, we can see lots of different things. Andrew, just to do a time check, how much time do we have? Are we doing okay, or did you want to?
Yeah, we're doing great. We've got probably another 10 or so minutes up our sleeves. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, I've got a question from Kevin.
Oh, great.
While we're interrupted. He's just asked, can the page layout, is that flexible? Are we able to customize that page layout?
So yes, so the page layout is flexible. So there's different places where there are page layouts. First of all, there's the home page. This is all built with our new page builder. Previously, we had set templates for these pages, but now it's all a drag and drop configuration to build these. Then when you go into the actual items, we have certain pages that you can access, but within those pages, every single field you see here is configurable with dragging and dropping. So you can choose to put the image on the left and the text on the right. You can choose to make it HTML. You can choose to include here, for example, here we don't have inventory, but you can choose to add a box that says inventory, or an icon that says in stock. So all this is very flexible, and it's configured with dragging and dropping. Same with the grid line view here. You can see that the fields that we've got here are different to the fields we saw, for example, on the iPad. And so these also are configured with dragging and dropping. So here you can see we don't actually have the wish list function. So if I wanted to add in that wish list that we had on our medium view in the administrator area for this particular user type, I can just drag that field, hit save, and then once this screen is refreshed, that wish list view will be available. I wanted to, sorry, go on, Andrew.
I was just going to say thanks.
Okay,
that's great.
Cool. The other thing I want to do is show you, this is our food, that's our food demo. So it shows a lot of features for the food industry, but I know there's a few companies here who also deal in fashion. So what I wanted to show you is our fashion demo, to show you a different type of template, a different look and feel on a homepage, much more branded towards fashion. Here, instead of calling it favorites, we're calling it wish list. We've got a line sheet functionality, so they can show line sheets. And then when you go into the items themselves, we've got an added feature that we've made available here. It's also available for the food industry, but it's more commonly used in the fashion industry, which is the matrix. And that's where you can have an item with sizes and colors all on the same screen. So you can see here, this has got a different layout again. If I search for a shirt, we can see when we bring up the shirt, it says order rather than plus minus to order. And when I click on that, it actually brings up that size and color matrix for fashion. So in NetSuite, you need a field that says the style to group it all together in that shirt. And then you need a field for the size and for the colors. And then we bring it in to actually allow you to order the matrix. For your customers on a device to order the matrix, it's even easier. I'll just log into the a fashion account on my iPad and show you what this looks like there. But also you've got here your breakdowns of your categories on your banner. You've got your categories and subcategories, and then you've also got your seasons. So then you can say, I only want to see the items from this season and apply. And then once you do that, it will only show you within these subsets the items for the seasons. So it's that added value again for that fashion use case. On the device, we've got here in this case a pre-book order, which is very common in fashion. We've also got the option to do returns, etc. So here, if I go into the pre-book order and I pick the customer, you've got straight away the catalog. So you can have separate catalogs forcing the customers to order for different seasons, for example. Then in this case, we've actually asked them for branch information before they've started. It could be other information that you make mandatory in the order. And then when we go in, if I go to the same shirt that I went to before, you can see this is a lines view. So again, it has a different layout, which we've configured with dragging and dropping. If I go into the medium view, again, it looks a little bit different. When I tap on order here, I get that same matrix, but in this scenario, I can actually just tap on the buttons. And as I tap, it adds to the order, but I could also just order all of them and say, give me 4 of each. So again, very, very fast in the field to order. And then if I want to see the inventory information or availability dates, I can see it above on the device. So again, depending on your requirements, all of this is all on the same base Pepperi system, but applying different features and functionalities to it. The last thing I wanted to show you within here, and I'll just jump back and you can see I'm logged into lots of different environments for our different demos and our different users. I wanted to show you what the insights looks like for a sales rep. So here, a rep dashboard across their territory. That new insights module that I was talking about, where you can see visits this month, what I must sell, sales versus target, etc. So you can really provide them with the information that the sales rep needs to sell more. Give them those tools to really make them more powerful in the field and be able to action things as they're doing the job, all from one place. And that's the power of what Pepperi can give them based on the data you provide. And that meshing with NetSuite and that integration with NetSuite is extremely powerful, because NetSuite is such a powerful ERP. You can make all that data available to your reps or to your B2B customers. I think that's probably me done for the minute. We can probably move to questions. If you've got any more questions.
That's great. No, I mean, none have come in as yet, but while we wait for those questions to come in, I might make a comment rather than a question. I want to ask a question, but I always come up with comments. So what I've found is as organizations look to move to bring in an online web ordering portal for their customers, there's this, I guess the main desire there is to streamline and speed up that process, which is correct. But there's this concern that they may have built their business on that face-to-face relationship building, that they're afraid that might go once they do something like this. And what I like about Pepperi is that it complements it, right? It's both and. It's not one or the other. It's you can achieve both by having Pepperi and equipping the sales rep to have all the information they need to do a good job when they're looking after their customers. So that's one thing that I quite like about Pepperi. This Insights is new as well. I haven't seen it before. It's really, really cool, particularly around cadence of client visits and how am I going against target. It's all very obvious. There's no hiding from that, is there?
Absolutely. We're actually seeing that a lot in the B2B e-commerce space, of that resistance of, but my reps are the ones that get the upsells.
Yeah.
And what we're finding is that because customers can order what they need when they need it, sales are going up, but also then the reps can focus on adding value to their customers, selling the things they didn't buy before, or talking about new products, or seeing what the customers are ordering in between and saying, I noticed you bought this in between visits. Let's talk about how we can do a promotion on that item when maybe they didn't even know the customer was interested in that. So it actually adds value and enhances the rep in the store and lets them focus on things that they can do because they're physically there rather than just being order takers.
Exactly. Yeah. That's great. Well, look, we've had no questions come through, so we might wrap it up there, Naomi, if that's okay. Thanks so much for taking us through that. I really appreciate it. It was quite insightful, and it's good to see the regular improvements. I think it's been about 2 years since we had you here last, so it's really good to see the regular improvements in the solution. I guess that's the value of software as a service, right? But I wear that hat. So thank you again.
We hope this video gave you the information you were after. If you have any further questions, get in touch with us using the links in the description.